Let's go!
Thank you, everybody, for the patience. I have been transported a week later since, like, the last time I streamed. It feels like it was instant, and it also feels like it took absolutely forever. I'm doing okay. This is the first time I'm actually going to see how my voice works. For anyone that's unfamiliar, I've been gone since last Thursday. Because during the Thursday stream, I was coming down to something pretty intense, and as the stream was happening, I was pretty much KO'd. What happened after that was pretty nuts. The day before I started getting symptoms, I took my sister and her husband out to Dave & Buster's because they had never been before. And that was the worst idea. The worst idea. I remember my sister getting some candy, and she gave me some candy, and I didn't wash my hands when I ate that candy like an idiot. Like a big, stupid idiot. So, unfortunately, I think that's how it happened. Jessica also got sick from me, which is a bit scarier, because if you get type A flu, or flu in general, from somebody that, or for somebody that is pregnant, it's a bit scarier. I'm lucky to announce that she's about 3 days in right now, and she's a lot better. She's actually at a much better state than I was in 3 days, because she was able to get antiviral. She got to the doctor within 2 days, which is the maximum time frame you can get there before you can even be administered, because after 2 days they denied you antiviral. I went to the doctor at 4 days in, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? Like, this is nuts. They're like, well, I can't give you antiviral. You pretty much have to ride it out at this point. I'm like, oh shit. So we took every single necessary precaution for JJ at the right time, because of course she's pregnant. And luckily enough, she's already recovering quite well. I think a lot of you guys are going to be asking, what the hell is at least in California type A? Like, what the hell's going on with California type A? This thing is about the same symptoms as coronavirus. Except that there is antiviral for it. The big difference is that if you get coronavirus, there's no antiviral medication for this shit. I was talking to my doctor about this, and I was wondering if I had corona somehow, and he's like, no, but I mean, you're not going through anything that's that much different. They were pretty much explaining the fact that coronavirus is scary because if it escalates, there's no antiviral yet. There's no medication that you can give. There's no what's it called? You can't treat it like it's an infection or anything. It's just a flu, but it's a flu that we know so little about that we can't stop things from happening. And that's what makes, like, coronavirus freaky. But you essentially ride it out the same, right? And that's the thing, yeah, if it mutates, it's like, that's when it gets scary. If it gets to too many people and it starts changing, that's when, of course, it gets scary. Something like corona gets out of your control. It gets out of the control of the people that are creating antivirals for an old strain, and suddenly, 18 months later, oh, we have antivirals for the old, virus, and oh shit, it's something completely different. But I didn't get that. The funny thing is, type A, which what I did have, is like the same symptoms. And I will tell you, holy fuck, the type A that I have in California, the doctors were like, oh shit, they're like, they were so sorry that we can't give you antiviral medication. And they're like, you just have to ride this shit out. I went 3.5 straight days of having a fever of like 103. And I haven't been really sick like this in a long time. Like, I don't think I've been sick in nearly 2 years now. Getting canker sores and everything like that, that's not sickness, that's just, life bullshit. So I haven't been, like, sick in a very long time. That's what JJ was like, you haven't been sick in a long time? I'm like, I know, it's weird. And I don't think I've been sick to the point of which where it's, like, actually bedridden. Probably since I was under, like, 10 years old. But this is much different than a cold, like another type of influenza or something like that. This type A shit was fucking rough. So, long story short, it was 3.5 something days of just, like, walking corpse. Like, absolute walking corpse. And the crazy part is that if you're older or if you're a kid, it's way worse. That's the insane part about this shit. And they're like, if you were under the age of 10, and if you were over the age of 65, we would probably admit you at this point. This shit was rough, man. And they were saying how they've seen more of it in this region than you ever have. But I lost weight. I lost 15 pounds. Yeah, I lost 15 pounds in a week. JJ's already doing much better, right? She has a bit of a cough right now. However, JJ's cough isn't nearly as bad as what she was already going through, and she got antiviral, so she's very quickly coming back. Anyway, I was just completely fucking bedridden. It was nuts. I had never been that sick in a hell of a long time. Even when I got food poisoning in 2016. The food poisoning left me, like, you know, a day and a half just super fucked and in bed. And obviously, like, you know, going through all that. A moment, like, 3 days after, where I'm like, I'm kind of okay. Everything hurts, but I'm kind of okay. This shit was 3 straight days of, like... I can't even tell you what happened. Like, I barely even remember it. And that's kind of, like, the scary part of it, where it's... There was a moment where, dude, I was lying down. Trying to sleep. I remember the heat that came off my pillow was so hot. The amount of, like, just pure aromatic hotness that was coming off of the pillow was just insane. And I remember telling JJ, I'm like, I need an ice pack. And JJ actually, like, ice packed me while it was so hot. I couldn't believe that fever, dude. That fever was insane. And it wasn't just the fact that, like, oh, I have a fever. Every single part of my body hurt. Everything felt physically, like, ill to the touch. And thank God it wasn't a stomach thing. It wasn't. Holy shit, man. It was... If I didn't have, like, JJ to, like, ice pack me during that time, I don't know, man. Because there's this point where it's like, you just can't do anything. Like, your brain is so hot, and you're sitting there just, like, literally, like, cooking, that, like, I actually did not have the strength to get up and get water, or have the strength to get up and do, you know, anything. It was fucking nuts. And it was like that for, like, 3 days. I would just wake up and be like, oh, what the hell? And feel... nothing but just absolute bullshit. Like, it was fucking terrible. I had never been through anything like this. Like, I've had flus in my life, but nothing like this, dude. Like, Jesus. It was something rough. Luckily enough, after that, it was just lots of coughing. I still have a sore throat right now. And I'll just still, like, randomly get cough attacks, like, completely out of nowhere. And I'm just like, what the hell? I'm finding my voice is already, my voice is already getting a bit hoarse right now just from talking. And that's because I haven't used my vocal cords very much in the past week. Like, I haven't used any of this shit. It wasn't cool, man. I essentially went through the same effect as coronavirus. Like, it's very similar. But how it affects people depends on age. And for a lot of people, for anyone that's younger, it's really scary. Like, the 10 years and no younger, it's really scary. And for anyone that's older, like 65 and older, it's really scary too. At a 1 to 10, how am I in general right now? I'm about a 7 at the moment. So I'm like, I'm like mostly okay. I'm feeling like I just lack energy to do a lot of things. Like, I'm feeling okay. It was not fun, dude. I have not been that sick in, Jesus, I can't even tell you how long. And from, like, a sickness, I don't know. Me and JJ have this long history of whenever each other gets sick, we get sick off each other just because I don't want to not be around her. I don't want to not help her. We always tend to get sick off each other, and she helped me out a ton, and I've been doing my best while I'm, like, getting towards the end of this thing to help her, and I've been helping her a whole bunch. So long story short, don't go out to Dave & Buster's and play arcade games with your family and then eat candy. Don't do it. Just don't. Don't do that.